coming to this chick lit, and then also talking about the representation, talking about the visibility of women writers. I was giving you an example of Katha Palit. She says that I think there is always a space for a Toni Morrison, you know, that celebrated writer Toni Morrison, black American writer, or a Mary McCarthy, but only one of them at a time. For every one woman, there is room for three men. So she is talking about the quantum of disproportion, you know, when it comes to the visibility or representation of women in the public fora, in the public media, where a woman would find space in the contemporary. She's basically drawing upon the contemporary times. She says that it's not that women are not receiving visibility, they are not given, or they're being always denied visibility, but the ratio would always remain very, very partial, and it would be discriminating against women. This is her view, Katha Palit. And similarly, there is, I'll give you another interesting essay, the name of another interesting essay by Meg Olitzer. She had written for the New York Review, in the New York Times Review. It's an essay called The Second Shelf, and I would want you to read this. If possible, I'll send you the link also in your WhatsApp group. Please do give it a reading. It's very interesting. The way she has written the essay is also very interesting. Drawing upon personal anecdotes, talking about her own personal experience. She is also a woman writer. She says how in a party where she had attended, somebody, she came across someone, a man who asked her about her profession, and she says that I'm writer. Then she says his response is that would I have heard of you? Then, and what kind of writing do you write? Then she says, yeah, I write about many things. I write about relationships, I write about family, I write about many other things. And then he gave a kind of almost like a condescending kind of a look, and then he says, okay, maybe my wife reads that kind of stuff, maybe she would know you, or you could relate, and she could relate to your writing, and both of you can actually converse. So and she was taken aback, she was really shocked and surprised. And then going back to the previous query, the previous question that he had asked, that would I have heard of you, she wanted to respond to that, saying that yes, in a more just world, the world is not really just, it's unjust world. So this women writing, very often, when it comes to the content, when it comes to the length, even the length becomes an important question. It's as if that woman would only excel in short form. They like even somebody who I admire immensely, Alice Munro, a Canadian writer, Nobel Prize winner. She excels in the short form. She writes mostly she writes short stories, short fictions, but then there is also a kind of a prejudiced, you can say, a kind of a lopsided view about the form in which a woman writes, a woman would write, that it's always the short form, or not really the lengthy one, not really the voluminous form of writing which a woman would take up writing. She would not really venture into very, very massive, voluminous, lengthy novels, and that would be only attempted by the male novelists or the male writers. Now, these are certain things which need to be questioned with a more critical eye. And why is it that if somebody is writing an excellent kind of a short story, why is it that there should be a kind of a hierarchy also between a person, an author writing a short story, and a female author writing a short story, and a male author writing, say, maybe a historical drama or period drama, a massive, full-length, very, very long form of novels. So these are the questions that need to be asked, that need to be criticized, that need to be critiqued at the very fundamental, level. So I'm suggesting to you that you should read Meg Olitzer's The Second Shelf. This will give you a lot of ideas about why is it that women's works are viewed in a particular way. And the name of the essay is also The Second Shelf, just as it's like the second sex, it's also, the second shelf. It's not, it will never occupy the first shelf if it is in a public library, or even it is in a a bookstore, where you would have shelves, different shelves dedicated. You might have a woman writer's shelf or women writing shelf. There are, different bookstores that would have that particular kind of a category, but it will see that it would remain as a kind of an exclusive space. And it would there would always be a kind of a hierarchy between the rest of the writing by the male authors and those writings by the female authors, by the women writers. So this idea of professionalism, which we will do eventually when we do Virginia Woolf, because she talks about this idea of professionalism. She talks about the vocation of an artist, of a woman who writes or who paints or who photographs or who is into creativity, who is into creative pursuit. And why is it that they have been largely, excluded, ignored, and systematically, you can say, excluded from the public eye, from the public visibility. So this is a question that we have to ask, and I'll continue with my discussion in the subsequent talks.